following a horrific massacre that claimed the lives of at least 200 people. Many more are now sheltering in UN camps in South Sudan. One base in Bentu now has 22,000 civilians inside it. The UN says they're struggling to cope with the influx.
These camps were not designed to house thousands and thousands of people, of families. We're not designed to be set up as feeding centers in an area where it's prone to flooding and rainy seasons. All these are very, very difficult and challenging times. There's a lot of tension in these camps.
The deterioration of the situation in recent days led to ambassadors being called to an emergency session of the UN Security Council. Behind closed doors, they were shown pictures of the recent massacre. The UN's head of peacekeeping described to me the atmosphere in the room.
It is one of deep shock. Deep shock first in the human sense by seeing hundreds of bodies. Can you imagine 200 bodies left to rot in a mosque? People killed in hospitals. That is everything a scandal.
Do you have a partner still in the government of South Sudan?
We have expressions of partnership. We have what we call a status of force agreement. And yet that agreement, despite all the verbal assurances that we received, is not sadly implemented. Every day there are difficulties for us to move around, to go where we need to go. We have difficulty in sending even humanitarian aircraft to some places. Our people are threatened, are intimidated.
Human rights activists are asking for accountability, and there's now talk of possible sanctions against both the government and the opposition.
The Security Council needs to sanction leaders on both sides who are responsible for these abuses. Until now, there's been complete impunity for all of these crimes.
There are fears that what now is both a political crisis and open warfare could also develop into a humanitarian disaster. Right now in South Sudan, it's supposed to be the planting season, but no one's planting any crops because of the ongoing violence. One UN official has said it's a race against time to avoid a famine that could be on the scale of the one in Ethiopia in the 1980s, which claimed up to 1 million lives. James Bays, Al Jazeera at the United Nations.